At the moment, I'm reading a book called Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence by Max Tegmark, and this book is scary. My feeling when I read this book is that you are reading a horror story, but there is no distance between you and the characters and the plot in the story, you know? It's like reading something that's so horrifying and realizing simultaneously that you are actually one of the characters in that horror story. I mean, the frightening nature of the book, you know, is just reality, and we are being directly affected by the scary part of artificial intelligence. So it's very frightening in a nutshell. And as I'm reading the book, I'm just so fearful, you know. I'm afraid of a future where I might lose my job, I might lose a huge part of my identity, and I don't know my purpose in life anymore. Why am I here? What can I contribute to the world? And I mean, losing our job in itself is intimidating because we cannot pay our bills, and the lack of financial stability is just scary on its own. But then it feels like there is no way out for us. It's like there is no hope for the future because everything seems to be taken over by AI. I mean, this can be a very hysterical thought, but like the predictions made by experts seem to paint the picture that AI would be everywhere and would become so much more powerful, and one day they have the power to excel at everything, and they would be so much better than humans at every task. And at that point, there's no longer a need for humans like us, you know, like me, just an ordinary person who has to work really hard, who has to practice a lot over a long period of time to become a master at anything. And now, with just an ordinary ability, I kind of have to compete with an AI machine who can learn so fast, who can adapt itself so effectively, and who can solve problems smartly and efficiently. If you are an employer, would you try to install that AI machine in your system, or would you like pay someone like me to complete the task in a very human but then imperfect way, you know? So this thought has been bothering me for a while during this week. I have a younger sister who is still in university, and soon she will be graduating from college, and I am afraid for her future, of course, you know, because if you look at the stats at the moment, newly graduates are having a very tough time to find entry-level jobs, and I'm just afraid that it might happen to my sister, to the generation who would graduate in the rise of AI, and now entry-level positions are gradually occupied by AI machines. So it's a very competitive job market. Like, I am working in a profession where AI is taking over as well, you know. AI has been integrated into solving a lot of tasks at work, and they seem to outperform human counterparts like me. And I'm afraid for my future as well, where my ability, my qualifications, and my skills are no longer needed at work, and I will be sadly made redundant because of AI. I worry about my future and also my sister's future too. And I was having a discussion with my sister and our parents about what we can do today in order to prepare ourselves, equip ourselves with more qualifications and skills that would enable us to secure jobs in the future, you know. And we mostly focus on the aspects that require human interactions, the human touch, and I think it's gonna be something that AI would have a very hard time to replace or to outperform us, because at the end of the day, I guess we are still human creatures, social creatures. We crave interactions and intimate relationships with other human beings rather than machines, even though it's not frictionless when you have to work with other humans, you know. Like, if you work with a machine, there is not a lot of emotion involved in the process, hence you wouldn't get hurt easily. Meanwhile, when you work with other human beings, you might disagree, you might have different opinions, and that can lead to arguments, but at the end of the day, that would bring more joy and happiness and life experiences rather than working with just cold-hearted or heartless machines. Like, we are talking a lot about that with our family, and Actually, I am having a very hard time to convince my sister to believe in a future where AI might take over our job, and we have to really face reality and make plans for future. Actually, really need to sit down and think about what we can prepare so that we can secure a job in the worst case scenario when AI might possibly take over us. So yeah, but it's been a struggle because it seems like my sister is not technically on the same boat as me, but I will try my best to make her understand me first and understand my thought process. I mean, I wouldn't force her to do anything, you know. It's her life. She can have the freedom to make decisions regarding her career, but I still want to really help her understand the reality so that she can make an informed decision and she can kind of utilize the time that she has when she's still in university to learn, to grow herself and to arm herself with a lot of tools and skills so that one day when she graduates in this economy, in this job market, in a society where technology has developed so fast and so advanced to the point that it might really wipe us out completely. In the worst case scenario, she can still like find a job as the bare minimum, and like if she finds a way to really feel the human connection in her job, it's gonna be very helpful for her identity too. Yeah, because I feel like to live is to experience, is to feel, you know. And if we constantly think about the fact that we might be replaced by AI, or we might be laid off, or we might no longer be needed by other people in society, it's gonna be very stressful. And if we can at least do something in the time that we still have in order to feel a bit more secure, rest assured when we are finally out there in the world doing some work in order to make our tiny contribution to society. First of all, we will not be starved to death because we have a job to make ends meet. But second, we know our purpose, you know, we know why we are here for a reason, and we wouldn't feel like we are not needed by other people, which is very important if you want to lead a content and fulfilling life.